Right, so we're on. Hello and welcome. We're back at the Africa CEO Forum. My name is Mahatma and I'm here with, let me know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Negede Yilma.
Yes, Negede Yilma.
From the National Bank of Ethiopia. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. First of all, is this your first time in Rwanda?
This is actually my first time in Rwanda.
Really? What's your
heard
first?
A lot about it.
Really? What kind of things did you hear?
Yeah, that is the cleanest city in Africa.
Right, it is, right?
It's safe, and it's one of the most up and coming economic hubs in Africa. So I'm looking forward to actually going out and seeing the city later on tonight.
Okay, so you're here at the Africa CEO Forum. Tell us a bit, very basic, about who you're representing here.
Yeah, so I work as a communication advisor to the National Bank of Ethiopia. I came in to represent and see the different forums, the different panels. There's a lot of economy movers in Africa represented here at the CEO Forum. I just wanted to hear from them and see what is going on in Africa. That was one of the main aspects why I came here. The other aspect is just seeing and putting events like this back home, maybe an economic
Do you have
forum in the
similar type
future.
of events in Ethiopia, Addis?
In Addis, we have sometimes, but they're not on a scale like this.
Yeah, this is quite grand. Right?
Yeah, grand where we do have the locals will come out, but as investors, you want to attract foreigners, right? Like from the outside of Ethiopia.
Right.
So we don't have this scale, but even at the National Bank of Ethiopia, we're doing a lot of different conferences to attract and to have different outside voices come into Ethiopia and start the conversation.
Okay, let's talk about you for a minute.
Yeah.
You're a filmmaker at heart and by trade. So where did you study your craft?
So I studied my craft at the University of Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then I also moved into Los Angeles to work in the film industry there.
Right. What was it initially that drew your attention to filmmaking?
To be honest, like when I went to college first, I wanted to be a doctor, right? So,
That's a big disparity.
Which is disparity, right? So, and that first week I went to college, I got in contact with the television studio. Like they do like tables. And
so wait, you went to med school?
No,
undergrad?
It was a pre-med school.
Oh, okay.
Pre-med. I was doing pre-med at University of Pittsburgh. That's how I got in.
Really?
And so I was doing that, but our freshman year they had a table, the university television station, and I went over there to talk to them. They were like, "Yeah, we have a TV station. You should come by. You don't have to have a film major. You could just help out, do different things."
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And I went in and then I was like, all right, I was into sports, so basketball games and stuff like that. So I started editing, I started doing things. So I started noticing myself having more fun and enjoying what I was doing. Like I was spending hours in the studio, like editing on on a lot of like Final Cut and stuff like that. And even if it was like bad, for example, like we used to have Final Cut back in the days. This was like 2004, and it used to crash, right? Like I would do like 3 hours of work, it crashed, and I still went back to edit, and I still had that passion. So I was able to realize that. But I realized that when I was junior year, so I still finished my degree in biology, but I still wanted to do film studies, so I continued with that.
So it was like more of a passion in the beginning. Okay, so which aspect of filmmaking do you most align yourself with? Do you think of yourself as a producer, director, writer, or maybe a mixture of all?
Yeah, so I've directed a couple of short films, but I'm more so in the directing aspect of it. But I think as I grown up and learned about the business, right now I'm more into producing. So one of the reasons why I moved to Ethiopia was to produce short films and actual, long length films. So that's where I want to be at right now.
So you said from Pittsburgh you moved to Los Angeles. Do you get like an internship or a job at one of the major studios? What was that process?
So the process was like as soon as we did a lot of different things, me and my business partner in Pittsburgh. So we wanted to explore Los Angeles now. So we were doing a lot of commercials, a lot of production work in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And we were doing good. So we were like, all right, let's go to the big ocean, you know, like see how it is in Los Angeles. So we both packed everything we had and moved to LA without a job, without nothing, and we wanted to start a production company. And it was pretty hard at first, you know.
I can imagine.
But so those times taught us a lot of different things that we were able to apply later on and be successful at.
Did any of the studios or companies in Hollywood recognize your efforts and take you on board?
Yes, we have entered our films in a lot of film festivals. We have worked for a lot of studios in Los Angeles.
Have you been to any of the festivals in Europe, like Cannes or?
We haven't. We haven't been in Cannes, but we've been into like a lot of different ones in the U.S.
Okay.
So it's been a good things that everything that we have produced has been into film festivals. There's still something that we worked on. Sometimes you gotta do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, of course.
So we were doing a lot of work for production companies, studios to earn money.
Grunt work. Yeah.
And then on our spare times we will go work on short films and stuff like that.
So in Los Angeles, have you been on any shows? Have you worked on any productions, shows, or movies that people might have heard of, like notoriously famous globally?
Yeah, like so we worked on a couple of shows on the CBS. I don't know if you know FBI International. We're doing a.
My sister actually likes that show.
So we did like a different. There's a lot that we did on. We also worked on live in-studio recordings for CBS.
So you said you moved back to Ethiopia so you can focus on being the producer on the production aspect of it. So tell us about some of the stories from your own private experiences that you intend to tell. Are you like patriotic? Well, tell the story of like a slumdog millionaire. So what kind of stories are you looking to tell in the future going forward?
So in the future, like right now, the process I'm working on TV pilot, which revolves around like telling the real life story, right? Okay. So in Africa, like our stories have not been tapped. Like we have our culture, but this television pilot focused on real life on the streets.
Right.
How life is. Sometimes what they show us on television is not the same as how real life is. My focus is on more like an art house, realism, and doc style filmmaking. So that's what I'm working on right now. Telling a story about people on the streets and how there's the dynamics, right? Like what they face and we also face. So telling a different type of, because there's rich people in Ethiopia, there's poor people in Ethiopia, there's all people in between, right?
Right.
So we want to tell those stories, and that's what we're working on right now.
Where can people find some of your works that are already out? Are you on
people
YouTube?
People could go to Altaye Studios,
So
Altaye Studios,
Altaye Studios.
or they go to acilma.com, and then they could be able to find some of my works.
All right. Do you know the Multi-Choice Talent Factory? Do you know MTF, the Multi-Choice Talent Factory?
No.
DSTV, because I think they have one of the bases in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
It's DSTV, the company. They have these film academies spread out. I think they have one in South Africa, one in Botswana, one in Kenya, and Ethiopia, and a couple other countries that I'm forgetting. But they have this competition of aspiring filmmakers, that just a bit like a short film, and then the interview for it, and then like 20 or 30 of them get picked to go to, and then they get the funding for making a short film. And I remember I interviewed them a couple of years ago, and I asked them what is the main difficulty, or what is the main problem or mistakes that African filmmakers make. And the one lady there, she said something very poignant that I still think about: sound engineering. Like the mixing, taking the score, the musical of the movie, mixing it with the actual audio. What's your take on that? What do you think that especially young, small filmmakers, not small, but African, unestablished, passionate filmmakers, what are the main concerns that they should be on the lookout for in order to create a quality short production?
So the first thing I say is you have to respect the industry, right? Like the filmmaking,
right,
the craft. You have to respect it.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it because your best friend is doing it, getting in there, you're gonna mess it up. Yeah, eventually you might figure it out, and it might be a passion, but you have to have respect for that craft.
Right.
There's a lot of work that goes into making films, right? Like you just mentioned, sound scoring. Those are like, sound is almost 60%, 70% of the movie, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, we have how it looks, the storyline, different things that are going on. But you have to really respect the craft, really spend the time to understand what does sound. Like if you are like an independent filmmaker, right? Because most of us, when we first start, it's just us and our friends, right? But now I think there's a lot of knowledge on YouTube, right? Like back in the days, in my time, there was not a lot of. We had to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah, you can learn.
Now you can learn every single thing that you can know about filmmaking, right? Angles and what to do on the set. You can learn all those things. So I think immersing yourself into that before you pick up a camera and just going, and just think about the story that you want to tell, right? Like storytelling is also one of the biggest things, right? Sound could be it's one of those glaring things, but understanding film rhythm, understanding how to write a particular, all those things you have to understand, and you have to be able to really do a lot of work on.
So lastly, which African filmmakers, do you think are underappreciated and should be, everyone should be looking out for them?
I'm just going to say one of my really good friends who just graduated from USC. His name is Wugatu. He's a very up-and-coming filmmaker. So look out for him. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, Negede Yilma, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see more of you.
All right.
The Oscars or something.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you.